You're wired in. SmallCapVoice.com. Following is a presentation of SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support. Now, with your online business briefing, SmallCapVoice.com's Stuart T. Smith.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us here today at smallcapvoice.com, and as you just heard, I'm your host, Stuart Smith, and we're joined today for the very first time by ecoTECH Energy Group Incorporated. The company's traded under the ticker symbol ECTH, and we're joined by the Executive Vice President of Business Development, Mr. Terry Ferguson. Terry, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to speak to your company shareholders as well as our listeners here at Small Cap Voice. And for those listeners who may not be familiar with the company, if you would, describe the business model and market for ecoTECH Energy Group Incorporated, please.
Okay, well, we're designers and developers of projects and technologies in the renewable energy sector. And over the past 30 years or so, our team has developed and refined proprietary technologies, mainly the EcoPhaser thermal gasification technology, which enables a very clean burn of biomass and waste. And through our in-house team and agents, what we do is we find and evaluate projects for renewable power generation, usually using biomass as the fuel. It can be wood waste or municipal waste, agricultural waste, and it gets converted in our gasification system to clean heat and power. And then the power can be sold into the grid or used in industrial operations. Heat can be used in many applications as well, such as greenhouses, aquaponics, kiln drying of lumber, district heating, or the production of clean wood-based fuel, such as torrefied briquettes. A typical ecoTECH project design incorporates several of these different business units, and it really just depends on the circumstances. So we're mainly interested in helping small communities regain viable industries, especially in areas where major industries may have left town and there's still a skilled labor pool available. Our projects create many local jobs that can help to revitalize the local economy, for example. Having said that, though, we're certainly open to larger projects in major cities as well, and we do that as well. So we're in various stages of project development, primarily located in the U.S. And in Canada, and the company is also pursuing international opportunities.
Well, listeners, if you'd like to learn more about the company, you can do so at their website, ecotechenergygroup.com. That information is available in the press releases for the company. Well, thank you very much for that, Terry. Let's learn a little bit more about you now as our guest and any other key members of the management team. You're the Vice President of Business Development. Talk to us about your background.
Well, my background has been primarily in business development and sales and marketing. I started off my career in technology development in a related sector, actually aircraft accessories, a company that I was instrumental in starting in the early 80s. Subsequently has become a world leader in helicopter accessories in the aerial firefighting market. And then that led into various other interests in sales and marketing. Had some experience in the computer industry as well, but I've usually tended towards being interested in technology and in environmental technologies primarily. So connecting with the ecoTECH Group in 2000 is where I first started working with the company. I just jumped in and was really excited with the various technologies and projects that were being developed, and quite impressed with the depth of the understanding and the scope of vision that the principals in the company had at that time. And that's just carried on to now with project development, and again an interest in seeing that expand into not just getting technology out there, but really making a difference in the environmental sector, but also community development.
And what about the team that surrounds you there at ecoTECH? Consultants, other members of the management team. Let's learn a little bit more about the team at ecoTECH Energy Group.
Okay, well, the company was founded by Colin Hall, who's our CEO and president, and Colin has had a long history of technology development. He's an engineer by training and by trade, originally from England, and lived in Canada and the U.S. For the past 30 years or so. And he developed the EcoPhaser gasification system, which is our, I guess you could call it our core technology. And many of our projects and other technologies have come as a spin-off, really, from the use of the EcoPhaser system in rendering waste products into usable heat and then turning that heat into other uses such as power. And so what we do now is we take those core technologies and we put them to use in a project design that can incorporate some of our own other technologies as well as many others that are off the shelf and readily available in the market. As well as Colin, we have John Matthews, who's our Vice President of Technical and Engineering. John is also a veteran systems designer, also from the UK, and he and Colin have actually worked together longer than the 30 years, and they bring a long history of successful projects and technology development to the group. We have Stuart Mason, who is our Chief Operating Officer, and Stuart has had a lot of experience in the pulp and paper industry, and he's been with the company for about 2 years now. And he brings a very grounded experience in industry and the use of our kinds of technology in a larger company type of setting. Beyond that, we have a wide range of professionals that we draw upon both in-house and on consulting and contract levels to bring our projects to fruition. And many of them are engineers by trade, but also environmental technologists. We have a PhD, Dr. Michael Easton, who's a pretty renowned environmental toxicologist. And so he keeps us very clearly informed on the impact of not only what we're doing, but what is happening in the market and in the environment, and how we can actually work to take those situations and turn them into an opportunity to put our products out there and make a difference.
Well, we want to talk to you a little bit about the achievements for the company now here in 2012. We'll go over the recent news for the company a little later in the audio interview, but obviously we're speaking to investors and your shareholders. You are a green company that's doing right by the environment. All of the investors and shareholders, of course, are looking to earn a little green as well. So let's talk a little bit about the initiatives for the company. So far, we're about halfway done with 2012. Let's talk about what you've been able to accomplish so far this year.
Well, this year we've gone down the road quite a ways in a major project in McBride, BC. So McBride is a small town in north central British Columbia. And we have in our design for a project there, it's to be a combined heat and power project with the primary, I guess you would say the customer is BC Hydro, which is the largest utility in Canada, electrical utility. A spin-off project, we could say, to that is an eco-industrial park, which is adjacent to the power plant project, and that particular project is called aquaponics. Aquaponics is a blend of hydroponic greenhouses and on-land fish farming. And we've achieved a milestone here in a major contract with one of Canada's largest supermarket conglomerates, and we've received a $60 million 5-year agreement with them to provide our beyond organic vegetables and fish, which we call our eco-grow system. And our facility to be built will have the annual capacity to produce about $55 million of revenue annually. So that particular project will also have a standalone 5-megawatt power plant to power its own facility, again using wood waste from local forestry operations as the fuel in a totally renewable, zero emissions situation. So also after several years of continued effort, as I mentioned, we're now negotiating and finalizing our negotiations with BC Hydro to provide clean power into the BC grid, and we'll be looking at producing between 24 to 36 megawatts of electricity in that project, again using wood waste as the fuel for our system.
Well, let me reiterate that for the listeners who may have missed that. That's a 5-year, and you said, $60 million contract?
Yes, $55 million actually over 5 years.
And listeners,
$60 million, but the capacity is $55 million per year.
And I read that 8K before the audio interview. That was released out in January, was it not, Terry? The 8K
yes,
impression? Okay. So listeners, go back to that or visit us here at smallcapvoice.com. We've actually highlighted that news and 8K in a blog that we emailed out just 2 days ago. So if you're not subscribed to us and you're finding us via this audio interview, make sure you visit some of our pages about ecoTECH Energy Group. Sorry to cut you off with that, Terry. I just wanted to reiterate that because I think that's very important news for them. And the grocery chain that you're working with, obviously this provides validity to the business model that you guys have executed so far. Is that your same take on that?
Oh, absolutely. They're very much a leader in the field and one of Canada's largest grocery retailers.
Well, let's then talk about your goals for the company for the remainder of 2012. What are some of the initiatives the company will be looking to get started on, finish up? Let's talk about the goals for the company for the remainder of 2012.
Well, we're excited about completing our negotiations with BC Hydro and also on the food production side, and actually beginning the construction of these facilities. We have another technology that we're in the process of finalizing our design and finalizing contracts on, and this is a system called Garcrete, which is taking, again, our thermal gasification system and putting it into smaller or mobile systems that can actually render municipal waste or other waste such as agricultural waste and so on basically into ash and heat. So it'll be rendering it down into energy as heat that could be extracted and used, or just simply into ash, which could be added as a valuable ingredient in concrete products. So in many cases in third world countries and small towns where it's not feasible to build a new landfill, for example, this can actually take the municipal waste and end up giving a useful product out of it in various building materials of concrete. So that's a different business stream that we're getting going, and it'll be a technology sales arm of the company, and we have tentative orders on that system already, both in Canada as well as in other countries. In South America, for example, we have orders for several of these units. And so we're excited about getting that line also really moving this year.
Listeners, once again, we are speaking with ecoTECH Energy Group Incorporated. Their investor relations can be reached at IR at ecoTECH Energy Group or at 213-254-2440. Well, listeners, now's the portion of the show where we want to move into the recent news. Use that ticker symbol to follow along, ECTH. Here's the headline. ecoTECH Energy Group announces update to McBride Combined Heat and Power Station project. Terry, we've touched on that throughout this audio interview. Any additional updates you'd like to provide us?
Well, Stuart, just to follow up on that, we've actually been working on the financing of that project, which is obviously the key portion of it. We've received a portion of the financing commitment already through debt financing, and we're currently undergoing some due diligence process from the lenders on that. And we've also received term sheets on the equity portion of the funds for the McBride project as well. So this project we view as two related but separate projects, and our financing is coming together on both sides.
Well, listeners, once again, we are speaking with the Executive Vice President of Business Development, Mr. Terry Ferguson. Terry, I want to thank you for your time and insight into your company's exciting business model. Green energy market, always fun to talk about here at smallcapvoice.com. Terry, good luck with the company here in the remainder of 2012, and congratulations on all your efforts so far. It seems like it's been a really good year for the company, starting to hit its stride. Obviously, kicking off the year, listeners, with that 8K and press release you'll find back in January regarding the $55 million 5-year contract. Take a look at that. And be sure to send us any questions that you have regarding the company. Terry, thanks for your time.
Well, thanks, Stuart. Have a great day.
All right, for Terry Ferguson, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support, provides its clients with the highest level of service. Our audio interviews are disseminated to one of the largest opt-in audiences available today. How? We at SmallCapVoice.com believe in aligning and affiliating ourselves with other leaders within the investor relations community. By sharing resources, each affiliated firm is made that much stronger and each client is served that much better. Our focus is to identify and provide the very best financial services and solutions available to clients and their shareholders. For more information about our services, please call us at 512-267-2430 or visit us on the web at www.smallcapvoice.com. This is a broadcast of SmallCapVoice.com, a financial communications and investor relations firm. SmallCapVoice.com receives payment for investor relations and financial consulting services that it provides to its clients. You should assume that officers, directors, and employees of SmallCapVoice.com or financial analysts mentioned and their families hold a position and intend to trade in these securities for their own accounts. This is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be, nor should it be construed as, investment advice. As in all investments, an investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This broadcast does not purport to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from the featured company and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by smallcapvoice.com as to completeness or accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice.